Happy Valentine's Day. My name is Cher Beal and I'm an interior designer, and today I'd love to show you how to make this beautiful little flower cone that makes a great little hostess or Valentine gift for a girlfriend. I want to show you what I did for this one in particular, but I'm going to start with showing you where the idea came from for me. So this was basically a little cone that I bought from IKEA. Years ago, it was their Christmas decoration, and I thought it was so cute and would be better suited for us for Valentine's Day. So what I did with this existing cone was tie it with a silk ribbon, fill it with daisies, and we have got these on our table settings and hanging on doors in various places for Valentine's Day. So if you can find something like this that you can buy, then that's super easy and makes a charming little accessory to use at your table. But if you'd like to make something more personal, then I'll show you how to do it. In this particular case, I want to show you what we ended up with. So this is a medium-sized cone, and I'm going to walk you through the process, but it's basically two little lovely women with bird cages on the top of their heads, and these obviously are chatty girlfriends, and one is saying to the other, "You look totally hot." With that in mind, I used this fun bird cage paper that's from Midori. They make these lovely little hand-printed papers, and this one has bird cages. So I thought it was perfect for the little card that I was going to attach. And so I've covered my cardboard cone with this paper and tied on various ribbons and a heart and filled it with ranunculus, and super fun, lovely gift that's kind of silly too. But I want to show you actually how I put this together. These are cones that you can order off Amazon, and what you need to do is cover it in any kind of paper. It doesn't take a whole lot of paper to do it. What you basically do is line it up on the edge, and then you're going to want to use your paper glue again, your PVA glue, so that things don't wrinkle, and then you brush it along the edge, and then you roll it with the salvage of the paper like this. So you can see it really doesn't take up very much paper, and then you're going to want to cut along the line and cut along the top, and then make sure you seal it with more glue and let that dry. And then also you need to cut about a ½ inch above the cone so that you can tuck it in. And then I clipped it to give it some relief as it went around the curve of the top of the cone. But so then you basically end up with this cone that's covered. You can use a hole puncher to punch holes in the side that you put a ribbon through, as I did in this one. I tied a knot at each end. You could also use a little lovely grommet if you wanted. And then to make this have that much more detail, I used my glue and used a tiny little velvet ribbon that just adds a tiny little detail. I tied it on with a different ribbon and another color, more texture, more color. And then I also accented with part of what is a heart garland, chopped up in little pieces, so that it gave me this just spectacular little detail. And then I actually filled this with, in this case, ranunculus and a couple different kinds of flowers. And I used little tubes, little florist tubes on the inside to put water, so that I wasn't sticking these in without some water. And that makes it last a little bit longer and keeps your flowers fresh, and just sort of gives you this fun little look that your hostess can take and put those in a flower vase after, and keep this if she'd like. So just to give you options on your flower cones, I'm going to show you how to make another flower cone, or at least give you an idea of another flower cone that's in process. So in this case, we started with this lovely romantic bird and flower hand-printed paper. And again, this is by Midori, who makes beautiful, interesting, unique papers. So, but it looks very romantic with its lavender birds and flowers. And so in this case, I covered a much bigger cone. I used a big size if you wanted to make a big bouquet. We wrapped it as I've shown you in the previous video. I also used a fun paper doily but this is actually a cake liner. So you can find this at Michael's or any kind of craft store. In this case, we used it on the inside, and it kind of did the perfect thing that we wanted it to do. We cut out the middle of it and we placed it on the inside of our cone once we wrapped it. Again, we used our PVC glue. So this is the start of it. And the way that I would probably finish this one, and there are so many different ways you could do that, I would probably pair it with this lavender ribbon and this lovely little heart buckle to the top of it. I would hole punch the sides and then use a different kind of ribbon and some sort of probably very personal tag that I made for the outside of it. And I would fill it with flowers. Very lovely, very romantic way to present flowers to a girlfriend for Valentine's Day. I recently showed you how to make these fun flower cones, something like this. But today I'd like to talk to you about making an alternative, a smaller little cone that could be used for a gift instead of flowers. You can see my note card coordinates with the text of my paper. And in this case, I actually used a paper that was kind of self-made. It was actually different poets and writers that were all on a page, and I blew it up on my copier, and they'd made my own wrapping paper out of it. So you can see I used something that wasn't super, super thin, but that had a little bit of weight to it. I used a smaller cone, but same concept, sort of wrapping it on the edge, cutting it all around, and making sure I used the appropriate glue to keep it nice and smooth. You could use paper that was maybe your friend's favorite poet or favorite writer. In this case, I wanted something a little more modern, sort of giving you the opposite look of my other more feminine look. So I paired this with a more modern, cute card, and then again tied on a little felt heart. So just all these little teeny details, using different things for each element to sort of give you this little lovely detailed surprise that is a great hostess gift or great to place on your table setting like you will see in our Instagram videos.